Shalom. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakal Kodash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the 144,000 and 130 left of the nation of Israel. I'm the brother Kabash from the GMS Atlanta camp, and I'm here with the whole faith of found blessed through the spirit of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakal Kodash. And in this lesson, I'm going to get into a brief lesson going into the history of the RFID technology, which they're going to use this technology on human beings, on men, women, and children in the world. And when it hits America, just like everywhere else, because they already hit certain areas in the world, like India, Sweden is very heavy on their RFID chip, which the MOTB been implemented in under people's skins. They making it seem like it's a choice, but really it's not. It's really gonna be mandated. And guess what? The Lord sent His prophets out, the men of the Lord, us men of the Lord, to tell you these things before it happened, because the Lord has it to where in the scriptures in Revelation chapter 14, which is a law, because all these scriptures is precept. Some of them just face value of history and written words, going into Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, scenes, Psalms, and Wisdom of Solomon. But you have the prophecies too, and you got precept upon precept, meaning commandment upon commandment. That's what precept means. And in Revelation chapter 14, around the 9th verse, Salakia had to answer the door. So yeah, right here, verse 5. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I explained enough about the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. This is what's happening right now. 2026 is going to be a major shift in going into these prophecies, because we are already in the time of Jacob's trouble. You see what's happening to the northern kingdom, and the southern kingdom is right behind it. Hispanics, Latinos, Native American Indians of the northern kingdom. Then you got the southern kingdom, so-called Negroes, West Indies, and so-called Haitians, which make up the 12 tribes of Israel. But by those proverbs and bywords named that these heathen that rule over us gave us is what we go by today. But the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Heavenly Father, Romans chapter 8, verse 16. Because not only the curses, like it says in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 46, that it will be a sign upon us, but also us being the salt of the earth, history, not Ancestry.com, but through the Spirit, we can fit to like, okay, yeah, so the northern tribes moved over here in 722 BC. Makes sense, because this land was not native to nobody until they came over here. The northern kingdom. You got the southern kingdom that was left behind, and certain particular captivities like the Babylonian, Persian, and Medes, Greece, Rome, and then fled after the Roman invasion in 70 AD throughout the known world at that time, throughout Asia, Europe, even in so-called Africa. And then you gotta fast forward up to the medieval times, and after that, the Atlantic slave trade. Before the Atlantic slave trade, you got the Renaissance, Spanish conquest. And plus, the Lord said we would be hid. And then you can tell Jake is the Lord's people, because Jake be denying this truth more than any other race in the world. The Lord said surely the other nations would listen, if they would have heard this truth, but his people is stiff necked. That's Jake all the way. If nothing else proves that we the people of the Lord. So right here, Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5. Behold, ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days which ye will not believe, though it be told you. Yeah, the Lord was working this work of this beast system being in reality, which we're seeing now. This digital ID taking place. They said was going to be along with that is the digital money. Got superpowers like Russia, China. They are already converting to the CBDC, central bank digital currency. And America is right along with it. Matter of fact, America has been along with it from the jump, decades ago. They just been doing social experiments on it, and now they coming to the point that hey they ready to implement the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, written about in Revelation chapter 13, verse 15 through 17. Right here in Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So in the time of the end, and knowledge increased. People running to and fro. People can travel around the world quicker than how they used to, based off the technology of planes and knowledge of certain pathways to get to certain lands, even by boats. Technology going into electronic technology. You can talk to somebody in China on a laptop or on a phone. So this is what the Lord is talking about. Knowledge should be increased. Because you had the Stone Age, the Iron Age, the Brass Age, which the Iron Age it really came later. I think around the Roman Empire time. So you had different ages, but through those ages, they had certain technologies. Now, in this last end that we're living in, this is the age that knowledge increased. As you can see, people have more access to all type of convenient things because of technology that's been advanced in these last times. So like the Iron Age wasn't the Iron Age did last to about the time when the Roman Republic was in place. It really started around a little before King David rulership, the Iron Age. Right here it says an AI review. It said the Iron Age was a historical period following the Bronze Age, defined by the widespread use of iron for tools and weapons, starting around 1200 BC in the Near East and Mediterranean, and lasting until different times regionally, such as to the 43 AD in Britain, making the end of prehistory and the beginning of classical or recorded history in many areas. Because the Roman Empire came around Augustus Caesar time, but then you had the Roman Republic before the Roman Empire, which Julius Caesar was Julius Caesar and the triumvirate was around that time until Caesar decided to be an emperor, and then that's when Rome started going to that Roman Empire phase. But right now, what this scripture is talking about is talking about the uh, the age that we're in now. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look up that word um, knowledge. Da'ath or da'ith, like yada means to know, and da'ith means knowledge. Knowledge, perception, skill. Yeah, man, the Lord put in man's heart to make these things. Like he said in the book of, I think it's Sirach chapter 17 or Wisdom of Solomon chapter 17, how the Lord put understanding in man. It says, verse 5, they received the use of five operations of the Lord. In the sixth place, he imparted them understanding. And in the seventh, speech and interpreter of the cogitations thereof. Counsel and a tongue and eyes, ears, and heart gave he them to understand. Because the Lord made man and beast different. Like it says right here, it says, right here in verse 1, the Lord created man of the earth and turned him into it again. He gave them few days and a short time, and power also over the things therein. He endued them strength by themselves and made them according to his image. Now this is talking about the chosen ones, starting with Adam, the Adamites. And then after the flood, the Israelites, which we are the Adamites, pursuing the 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Because Yahweh Shai, who the word we call Jesus Christ, died and cleaned the slate of the first Adam that sinned. Which you go also in the lineage of Yahweh Shai, Adam as his forefather in the book of Luke. It goes into that genealogy of Adam being the only begotten son, forefather or ancestor. And no other nation has that type of manuscript within their books or their history books. Why? Because they're not the chosen people. You look that up in Luke chapter 3, verse 38. But in essence, too, you can say that about who the Lord put in power. Like it says in Daniel chapter 4, the Lord even raised up the bases of men. So, by him raising up other nations, the Lord put in them a heart to understand so they can be able to rule and do what he wants them to do while they're in rulership to fulfill his will. And that's the same thing that the Lord is doing with this damn Edomite, this damn so-called white man, and these other nations that's helping him out, including Jake. But more so, he's using Esau for this role. So the Lord putting knowledge in these damn devils to make this system work, to make the technology that I just spoke about. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. And it reads, well, I'm going to start at verse 15. He had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Yeah, Esau got that power now. Promotion coming out from the east, north, from the west, like it says in Psalm 75. But then I just read the book of Wisdom of Solomon. No, it's like Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 17, going into how the Lord put power in man, gave power to man to rule over the things in the earth. Esau has that capability because of the Lord. And this is what the scripture is going into. Because the image of this beast is talking about Esau's system. Right here, the Greek word for image is ikion. I'm going to go straight to the point. It says right here, a strong definition, a likeness, that is literally statue, profile, or representation, resemblance. Let's see what I got here. Now they giving us like this um the meaning of it as being an image. Like you see the Statue of Liberty, right? That's like an image of Lady Liberty, right? But really, in another way, is really talking about metaphorically, not it's like figuratively, a statue of law. Right here, you got the same word. Um, well, it kind of looks like the same word. It's not the same word because of different letters in it. But statue, and I'm gonna look this up in the etymology too. Because like I said, they both spelled different. Statue, statue. That statue, without the T at the end, is talking about an actual carved out image. Means to in Latin statua, from stare to stand. Trophy or memorial. So this statue is a memorial. A memorial of what? It's a memorial of their or memory of their new world order. Okay, while memorial honors a person or event, often with a lasting tribute to a plaque. Yeah, lasting a lasting tribute to their idols or to their gods, which is Satan. Because Esau is the children of the wicked. See right here the word memorial. It says to honor, remember, or commemorate a person or event, often after death, feeling respect, remembrance. They want everybody to remember this damn harlot, this damn Babylon the Great, Esau's New World Order. That's what that image is all about. I hope I ain't lose any one of you listeners out there. I'm just briefly going through it. I ain't really touching on other points. It says right here, a figurative statue is a sculpture that represents recognizable objects, people. Something symbolic, represents something symbolic or metaphorically, not literally. It's about capturing an idea of what the New World Order, emotion or essence, like a statue of a hero embodying courage, rather than just a physical likeness, though it stems from figurative art, which does depict real forms like people or animals in a recognizable way, often with added meaning or emotion through pose and expression, even if abstracted. So it's really symbolic of the New World Order. This is what this image is going into in Revelation chapter 15. It's like Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The beast is talking about that serpent, that head, that one of the seven heads was healed, which was the Roman Empire, and it was revised all over again when Esau came back into power during the time of the Renaissance. To this word beast, the Orion, and this beast too goes back to the serpent in the garden, and also Daniel chapter 7. So right here, I'm gonna get to the point. Metaphorically, a brutal, bestial man, savage, ferocious, and that's it's talking about Esau. Metaphorically, preparing destruction for men, hunting and remember, when Nebuchadnezzar II got proud, the Lord turned his mind into a beast mind for 7 years. And the Lord did mention in Genesis chapter 3 that all these nations were considered beasts. Why? Because they didn't have the law, statutes, commandments in them like the Adamites, the chosen. And also after the flood, like the Israelites, to all the way to this day. They still are considered a beast. Because the Lord required that which is past. So he still called these other nations beasts. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And they're going to ask you out for a time, and then ultimately, they're going to ask you out the system. You're going to be able to buy nor sell or travel or anything. And then ultimately, they're going to round us up that don't take the chip and behead us. Some of us are going to be beheaded, like it says in Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. Some of us just going to be just wiped out in other ways for not taking the MOTB. Verse 16, and he causeth all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So it don't matter if you somebody important or non-important, which is small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Like if you're a free man, you ain't held by the 9 to 5 every day struggling, hustling, or the bond. So if you bound by 9 to 5 and clocking in, it's going to affect you too as well. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Verse 17, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you can't buy nor sell unless you have it. Now I'm about to go into this article right here to show a brief history on the RFID technology. Now this article is from Silo, Journal of Technology Management and Innovation, Journal of Technology Management and Innovation V3N3 Santiago 2008. So this article came out in 2008. J Techno Manage Innov 2008, Volume 3, Issue 3, pages 151 through 160. Trends and Current Opinion. Human now, because they already been chipping animals decades ago. They've been chipping these planes too, these warplanes. And it's going to get into that, but I ain't going to get into all of this article. Just touch on a few points to really go into the point of this RFID technology been in motion. And now we at the end, and they want to use this human microchip implantation. It's like you got this picture down here. This is what they're going to insert in the people, and you people out there. So right here, top of the it's like the top of the page, by Charles Smith. Go to the point. Abstract, meaning this is the concise idea of what we getting into. Radio frequency identification, RFID, has generated a lot of attention in recent years as a method of replacing the barcode. This paper will begin examining some of the origins of RFID technology. From there, it will look at several applications of RFID technology within the healthcare industry. Next, privacy and legal issues will be examined. Lastly, the result of a survey of local students. Keywords: microchip implantation, privacy, RFID, electronic product code. Introduction: RFID technology had humble beginnings in World War II. Man, this must have been going on since World War II, since the 1930s. They had it already in plan before the 1930s as well. So it says to identify Allied airplanes from their RFID technology was used to track nuclear material in animals. The technology took another jump and is currently used to track items through the supply chain. James chapter 12 verse 4, knowledge shall increase. An RFID chip is a microchip that can transmit a static identifier or serial number for a short distance. Research is being done to help people medically with RFID technology. Microchips can help advance prosthetics use, help people hear better, or possibly even help paralyzed people move. That's that miracle that Esau is going to perform. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 14. Well, it's like verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That's what he did in World War II. And this one, that RFID technology was out too. And also, this was towards the end of our last captivity. When 1969, 1970 happened, that was the end of our testimony that we had to live out, which is the 42 months or the 3 days and a half, which is prophetically meaning 350 years of us living out the curses, and especially certain prophecies that was admitted in those curses. Deuteronomy chapter 28, or the 68 um, for Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom. Then you got Genesis 49. Right here in verse 14, and deceiving them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. Yeah, the bombs falling out the sky, and also too, um, fast forward in the future, the miracles of him healing people with this chip, or so-called healing people with the chip. Right here, transliteration of the Greek word um, miracle is a sign, mark, token, that by which a person or a thing is distinguished from others and is known. A sign, prodigy, portent, i.e., or given an unusual occurrence, transcending the common course of nature. Yeah, because it's not normal that what Esau is doing. Really, he's doing magic on the left hand side, but he's trying to make it seem as innocent and as God gifts to humanity, which is not. It's no real miracle like Yahweh Shah did when he was on the scene of the Roman Empire time, healing the blind, healing people from leprosy, all different type of diseases. The woman with the issue of blood for years, even paralyzed Jakes that stood by the water where the angels go by, and whoever touched the water after the angel went by them, they would be healed. But Yahushua came up one day and he told him that the man that was paralyzed, and the Lord told him to pick up his mat and walk. And he did that. And that was a miracle that everybody couldn't believe, but they did. And it was like, wow, this man must be the son of the Heavenly Father. Esau is not the son of the Heavenly Father. He's in no position, neither has the mind to be. So right here it says, in strong definition, an indication, especially ceremonially or supernaturally, miracle, sign, token, or wonder. Yeah, it's a wonder. Oh man, he can use a computer without using it with his hands. He can use it with his mind. People with no legs, now they got another part of a leg. They got a machine on their leg. A machine, robot leg to replace their other leg or arm. This is what the Lord is talking about in verse 14. And deceiving them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Yeah, because the beast was taken down by the strength of the Lord, and the power was given over to Jacob to rule the world, majority of the world at one time. You still had opposition against Israel. Israel wasn't in a right mind as far as being the people of the Lord, because the Lord wasn't dealing with us at that time. Right here it says, the technology is available and being used to implant people with microchips. Some issues arise with implanting people with microchips, although issues include being able to track a person's previous and current location, their purchasing habits, legal and privacy concerns, as well as hacking their personal and financial information, which is not going to be no hacking, or it's not going to disrupt, it's not going to disrupt the movement of them making this RFID chip, human implantable microchip, mandatory, because they've been having it in decades. and they really moving in the spirit of the Most High. Like I said, they already had these plans in work, decades, and also uh, that's a part of Agenda 2030. And Lord willing, I can try to go into that, filter it with the scriptures. And we're seeing that right now with the digital ID, like I said, starting with the UK over there, and it's really gonna spread out everywhere. Just like over here with the real ID, and Trump making more moves towards that new world order, which is the image of the beast. Because all these nations are moving towards that microchip being implanted in people, but they doing it and saying it in a different way. But it's all the same agenda. It says right here, history, RFID technology began in World War II with an early identification, friend or foe IFF systems where it was possible for Allied fighters and anti-aircraft systems to distinguish or tell the difference their own returning bombers from aircraft sent by the enemy. Yeah, so if the enemy aircraft would come to their base where the aircrafts go to get maintenance and soldiers can retreat by way of this system that they had in place, which was really the RFID technology. It wouldn't give no radar signal back to them. Then they would know, oh, okay, this is the enemy. But the Allied fighters, aircrafts, when they come back to the base, they would give off a signal to let them know, okay, this is the Allied fighters with us. It says, then shortly after World War II, Henry Stockman was an engineer, had a paper published called Communication by Means of Reflected Power, where he cornered up with the idea for passive RFID chips. So you see the development of these RFID chips, basically the RFID technology as time went forward, past World War II and whatnot, into the 60s and then 70s and 80s and so on and so forth to this time. Until now it's morphed into the human micro implantation. And they did plenty of tests on this RFID technology, especially the human microchip implantation. Elon Musk with the Neuralink, all that stuff he's showing is really past tense. He really want to show off with this chip instead of the wires connected to a device. No, he wants this actual device that's not connected to nothing to be in full motion, just as well as the elite. It says, in 1960, RFID technology was used to identify and monitor hazardous material and nuclear power. Right here it says, in this paragraph right here, highlighted, it says, in the 1970s and 1980s, researchers, universities, and even government agencies worked on RFID technology, and we see that same thing today with these technocracy players, these big corporations, and also the government. They united with each other. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and many other tycoons in this technocracy states, they all in league with each other, just like how they was decades ago. Researchers, universities, and even government agencies worked on RFID technology to make the chip smaller, cheaper, and able to transmit the frequency further. Each tag could be pre-programmed with some basic functions that may include a kill command, disable the tag permanently, and that's what they're gonna do. You get that tag and you piss them off, they're gonna cancel your chip to where you can't do nothing. A sleep command, the tag no longer responds to queries except upon receipt of a wake command. Yeah, so if you um drunk too much beer to the beast system, because your chip is gonna give off information of what you're doing, where you're at all times, and they're gonna link what you can do and what you can't do with this chip, and they're gonna be like, look, um, sorry, we can't give you another beer because the system said that you had too many, and based off your illness, um, you would not be able to do it. And if you try to do it, they're gonna sleep command your chip. It says resends ID to a reader. Write takes information from reader and stores it. Just like this word mark means, it means um, to stamp or imprint. Right here you got karama, which word mark goes to karama, meaning it's a stamp or imprint it. Mark, thing, carved, sculpture, graven, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to use that syringe um, device to put this chip in you. Right here, I got this article from Wikipedia about microchip implant human. Right here, you see it says surgeon implants an RFID microchip in the left hand of British scientist Dr. Mark Gasson. See that syringe? You got the karama. That's how they're gonna print the mark in you, or sculpture the mark in you, or carve the mark in you, graven as a badge of servitude, sculpture, etching. Then you go into another root word of the same word mark, besides karama in the Greek. You got karos in the Greek, which means a pale state or palisade. And we see this this stake right here. It's like this this palisade right here. This this staff, this stake right here. They're gonna put that inside your skin. That's that pale state. A pale look just like something like that. Got karama. Then you got how they would write things and how they record things. Grapho, which that mark is really all of these combined within that chip. Hence the radio frequency identification. Means what? To write with reference to the form of the letters. To write with reference. Meaning they don't have the documents on that chip. Your bank statements, your insurance, whether car insurance, health insurance, and that all ties into that mark. But yeah, I ain't gonna be too long on this video. I just want to briefly show what they got in store for us and what they've been doing before they had it in store for us. They've been doing social engineers on this chip for the longest. And they finally about to put it out there and make it mandatory. So right here it says in laws, there are legal and legislative issues as well dealing with RFID technology. Even though the scanner that reads the sensor has to be close to the body to read the chip, there still is the possibility of identity theft. Having the chip implanted has been compared to carrying your social security number under your skin. Legal issues with neuroelectronic interface enhancements have risen as well. Currently, there is no governmental agency that control neuroelectronic interface enhancements. As it stands today, the one agency that could control RFID and neuroelectronic interface devices is the FDA, Food Drug Administration, because it has a broad regulatory jurisdiction over medical devices. The FDA defines a medical device as the diagnosis, treatment, or prevention of disease, or as something used to affect the structure or any function of the body. Within the FDA, the Center for Devices and Radiological Health, CDRH, regulates the approval and manufacturing of all medical devices within the U.S., which includes the post-market period. Issues lawmakers will have to keep in mind could include what information should be placed on the device to be able to identify the person, who will have access to the personal information, who will be able to read the information with a scanner, what would be the punishment with people stealing the information with a scanner, at what level of government should laws be enacted. Local laws may be too narrow to include all the problems with RFID. National laws may be too broad or to be cumbersome of business and stifle innovation. Constitutional restrictions apply only to governmental actions but not to private enterprises or individuals. One thing that lawmakers need to keep in mind is to enact laws that encompass both government and private sectors. Take, for example, the Privacy Act of 1974. The most comprehensive U.S. law pertaining to privacy applies only to government actors. Therefore, private corporations are not bound by the Fair Information Practices, Open Access rules, and data ownership principles embodied in the Act. U.S. federal government does not have comprehensive privacy laws. So, right, it says the tags are hidden or known tags provide ID. So they already putting this in motion. And they say everybody could be chipped by 2028 or by 2030. So we already, at the end of their plans that they want to actually get the victory, but they're not going to get the victory because the Lord is going to destroy the enterprise. So yeah, that's all I had on this lesson. I'm gonna get this in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse. Well, no, I'm gonna go to Romans chapter 13, verse 11. It reads, And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Yeah, our salvation is nearer because we see these prophecies come to pass. And the main major two prophecies is this Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. Then you got the third woe, which is World War III. And we out of here by that time. The Lord done already called us up in the ships when this war pop off. But with this MOTB, the hour of temptation, we're gonna have to go through that. But at the same time, we know that we at the end and we about to get the kingdom. So that's all I had on this lesson today, and I'm gonna say shalom.